From Kansas State University, this is Agriculture Today, and I'm Charles C. Craig. Kansas State University is a leader in a special USDA-funded research effort called the Great Plains Grazing Project, which is into its second year of its 5-year run. This project intends to look at all aspects of the beef grazing system in this region and how they are impacted by climate change. K-State's Dan Devlin is one of the coordinators of this project. He discusses what it's all about and what information they're seeking.
We're studying how do we mitigate if there's an impact of the grazing portion on climate change. How do we mitigate that? And if it changes as we see some predictions of the climate, how do we adapt to that? Is there going to be a change in grasses, change in cattle management? What do we need to do? And so that's really this effort, multi-institutional effort, to look at adaptation and mitigation to climate change.
After 1 year of results, Devlin expands on what they are finding concerning the environmental footprint created by grazing cattle.
2 or 3 of the research part of it, we're looking at the impacts of livestock on pasture, particularly tall grass prairie. So we're looking at both nitric oxide and methane emissions, as well as kind of the carbon fluxes under pastures, and both on rangeland and also on wheat pasture. So those are the 2 big areas that we've got research going on. Still trying to get that all put together. What we did last summer, we had a 2-week period where all the researchers on the project came together at El Reno, Oklahoma, at the National Grazing Lands Research Station. We examined the first time ever done, we looked at the nitric oxide and methane emissions from cattle grazing on a pasture situation. So really looking at the flux, both what's maybe moving out of the soil, what's moving into the soil, what's going off that pasture. So it was kind of really an interesting project, and some of the technology had never been used before in a rangeland situation.
In addition, Devlin points out that this study is interested in the long-term impact of climate change on the grazing resource itself.
Putting together the data into a model so it'll be able to determine really the environmental sustainability of the grazing part of the beef industry. Well, also, we're looking at if the climate does change, what might be the impacts on forage quality? Will we need to maybe change cattle types long-term? Will we need to maybe change a supplement? Will there be some of that's out there? Because right now, we really don't know. I think we're going to probably find that the grazing part of it is pretty sustainable.
That was one of the coordinators of the Great Plains Grazing Project, K-State's Dan Devlin, talking about the objectives of this multi-year research effort. I'm Charles C. Craig, and this has been Agriculture Today over the K-State Radio Network.